of science fiction. Hello and welcome to this Orville review, just a quick one. Twice in one lifetime. What an episode. It really goes into like the paradox of time travel, the what if and all that, and it's amazing. And poor Gordon, you do feel, and I never knew how Captain Mercer could be. I've got to give him, from where his character started, he was ruthless in this. Whether he did the right thing or not, that's left open to interpretation. So the Orville, they've got that time travel device from the last series. They end up like being attacked by the Kalon. Some installations being destroyed where they're going to store it, and they've been messing about with it. There's a great scene where Gordon sends a sandwich to himself 3 months in the future. That's going to turn up in an episode. And Gordon goes down to destroy it because the Kalon are trying to board the Orville, and big like quantum surge of energy. Gordon gets transported back to the year 2015, and that's it. They don't know where he is. Temporal message, and then they go back in time and to get Gordon, but they arrive in 2025, and Gordon's got a family. He's an Air Force pilot. He's had a good life there. He died at 96, and he's got children and a baby on the way. And they find him and they say, "Look, you've got to come back, man." And he says, "I don't want to go back. It's a bit complicated." And this is where it gets interesting, because when they meet his family, they said to him, you can't interfere in the timeline. You can't interfere in this. You can't interact. You cannot. You've got to stay out of the way. And it was like he'd broken the law. You know, he'd broken the law, and it wasn't an easy situation. He hid out of the way for 3 years. And he said it was like, he said, I killed animals. He said, in our time, I'd be a mass murderer for doing this. 3 years. And then I'd done my bit for the, sticking to the laws. And it comes out, you remember her from the mobile phone? He goes off with her, that's a family and all this. And Mercer turns up and says, "You're coming back with us?" He goes, I am not coming back with you at all. And it's fascinating, because like this is where, like, if you got trapped in the past, and you're stuck in that century, and you're lonely, and you need people. And he did, and maybe did he manipulate events with her who we met and all this. And he says, and Mercer said, "Don't mind, you're coming back." And he goes, "I'm not going." So like they leave him. He tells his wife, Gordon, and she said she knew. She said she knew he was different, And that's because of his mentality, because like he's an evolved human, isn't he? Like in the time they come from, so they've grown up, haven't they? Human race, they're more benevolent now. And sorry, I'm just building a roll up. They're more benevolent now. Humanity's changed, and it's interesting because like with Mercer, I wouldn't have thought that he would have been, how do you say, this ruthless. And I really do feel for God, but it does get interesting because there's Isaac and Charlie end up in this biker bar because they've got to go to this place to mine this Satotium. I forgot what it's called. This element to repower the quantum thing so they can get back to their own time. And they're going to biker bar, and Isaac has an arm wrestle with one of them. And he's like, it's like, look, well, they've got the actor that actually plays him. And he's like walking around as this right nerdy type in this biker bar. And they win the bikes and they go off and they get the element. And he's trying to initiate conversations with her. And we find out that her partner, it was Isaac Grace that killed her, the Kalon. And then there's this scene where like Gordon's having his dinner with his family. There's a knock at door, and he knows who it is, and they brought the security officer down, you know, with the super strength. And she says, "You're coming back with us." And he stands there going in front of the, you know, his wife, and the kid. You know, he said, "You're coming back," and he says, "I'm not." He said, "You're coming back. It doesn't matter. You can't. This isn't allowed." No, and you really feel it. But this is like getting everything you want, but obviously there's a bigger picture. Can you imagine if they'd have took him back to the future? Because they were going to arrest him and he'd have to stand trial for getting his involvement. Even you're meant to die on this belief that you're not to get involved at all. That's how far this oath goes. It's that serious, and it really goes into that. You don't quite got that with a lot of startups. Like with Rios in Picard, he stayed. Officially, he shouldn't have stayed. Picard should have made him come back to the future. Well, he should have done, you know. And even Kelly, you know, Mercy's second in command, she's like, "No, you're coming back with us." And then there's a call, and he pulls out, and Gordon pulls out, you know, his gun. And he just turns around and says, like, "It don't matter. We're going to go back to 2015 and bring you back from there. None of this will exist." Can you imagine having to make that decision? And he goes, "You can't." And God says, "You can't do that." He said, "Yeah, we have to do this. We have to protect the timeline." And they leave. And he's like shouting, going, "You can't do it." Can you imagine having your best friend who's got this life and you've turned up and you've got to take it all off him because there's a bigger picture? I mean, it really gets into that. And then obviously they jump to 2050. There's this scene with Gordon and his family going, "We're stronger than time." Now there's going to be a twist. They're going to come back somehow. Somehow they're going to end up in future. Not this season being a later season, or possibly later this season. This is not resolved, you know. This is not resolved. So when they jump to 2015, they get you know, that Gordon, he'd been on Earth for a month. He's like totally unaware, and they tell him, and he's going, "I can't believe how selfish or what." He's like a different mentality, because I suppose it doesn't exist, so it's not real. But then there's this what, you know. But even he says, like, when they bring him back, he says, "Well, you know, they might not exist, but the future does." It's like the size of the picture. But Mercer just sticks to this decision. I have to say, it's like they really got quite dark with this, like the whole thing of the time travel, the laws of it. But I've got a feeling contamination's been done somehow, and we're going to go into this. There's going to be something connected to this in future episodes. But I've been running a bit late with the Orville this week. I will get the latest episode by Monday or Tuesday. And so can you please subscribe to my channel? Please give us a like. And it just helps me, helps the channel. And I will see you on the next video. I'm just so blown away by this. It's just been awesome. And Orville's just... the writing this season has just surpassed it, so it really has. So I will see you on the next video, and I'm going to say it: live long and prosper.